Bum-ba-da-dum. Welcome to BanjoBenClark.com. I am Banjo Ben, your host here on the website that teaches you how to play banjo, mandolin, but this week is guitar, and this is the start of something really cool. This is the first lesson in my fingerstyle guitar course. So not just any kind of fingerstyle guitar. I want to tackle that alternating thumb. Kind of when you think Merle Travis and Chet Atkins, where we got that bass line going and then we throw in some melody and then play some licks here and there. I want to take that style and start at the very beginning and teach you all the fundamentals needed. Because I have lots of songs on the site where I teach this style of arrangement, but what we've lacked so far is having a method, having a course learning how to do those techniques. And that's what we're beginning with this lesson. What I'm going to do is give you the most basic fundamentals, kind of trick your brain into learning how to play them. And then I'm going to give you some little quizzes, some checkpoints, and then a final exam at the end of this 30-minute lesson to see if you have those skills down before we build upon those. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you're a GoPick member here on the website, BanjoBenClark.com, you can just scroll down beneath this preview video. You'll find the rest of the lessons in this, or the rest of the videos in this lesson. If you're watching somewhere else, here in a moment, I'll ask you to come over to the website, BanjoBenClark.com, join as a GoPick member, see hundreds of lessons, including this entire course. All right, let's dive in. This first video is just an intro to what you're going to experience in this alternating thumb finger style course. And the first thing I want to say is that if you're looking for super quick results and you want the cliff notes of how to play this style and you just want to be able to play songs immediately and you hate how much talking that there might be in conveying how to play this style, then it's probably not the course for you. But if you want to systematically learn and imprint in your brain the techniques and the skills required for this, and then be able to make all the music that you want in the future, that's what this course is for. So I invite you, if you're really serious about learning, to come along with me in this. You know, I heard Tommy Emmanuel, who's one of my favorite players. If for some reason you don't know who that is, go check out Tommy. I heard him say, there's two sides to this, right? There's the skill, and then there's the music. And everybody wants to play the music. Nobody really wants to talk about the skill. And his approach, and my approach as well, is to teach you the skill. And we're going to get the skills down. That's what we're going to learn in this lesson. But then as we do more and more of that, and as it builds, it turns into music. And then before you know it, you play music and you draw on the skills that you've learned and you're not even thinking about it. So that's the method, the approach, the perspective that I'm going to take. So I invite you to come along with that. Now, there's a lot going on with fingerstyle guitar. A whole lot. It gets very, very complex. It gets difficult really quickly. And so what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to break it down to its most basic elements. I mean, seriously, just one finger at a time, and then I'll trick your brain. It's my job to teach you. I'll trick your brain into how to play those elements together. You'll see how that works. You'll really like it. I remember when I got my pilot's license, you know, the first time in a plane, there's all kinds of gauges to look at. There's all kinds of things that you need to try to control. It's too much for your brain to take on at first. So what a good instructor does is just have you concentrate on a few of them at a time. And then just like when you're learning how to drive a car, there's a lot of things happening. But after a while, you could do that and carry on a conversation. And the same thing happens with fingerstyle guitar. If I teach you right, and if you follow the instruction I have for you here, you'll be able to learn these eventually and be able to put more and more skills together to get more and more complex. Okay, just a couple of details about what we're going to learn how to do. What kind of style are we playing? I'm calling it the alternating thumb because we are having that some variation of that. We're just going to concentrate on the C chord today because that's an easy one to play, and we'll learn all the skills that we need to today just using that chord. I just want to give it to you in digestible segments. So is that Travis style? Well, kind of. Merle Travis played more with two fingers, and he used a thumb pick, and he would get often, he would play more than one string with his thumb to mimic kind of a strum. We're not going to do that yet, okay? So maybe this is more of a Chet Atkins, because Chet was more of a clean player and would play those single bass notes. And so we're going to maybe call it more of a Chet style, but really it's an alternating thumb style. When we talk about our hand positions here, we don't really have to worry about our fret hand because we are just mainly concerned with the C position today. We'll definitely move on from that in the future, but I am going to ask that you anchor on your picking hand, whether you're right or left-handed. And if you're a banjo player, this is quite easy. But we're going to keep a pinky on the top of that guitar, not super hard, just to give us a little bit of leverage, and to also give us just a bit of a waypoint to know where we're at in relation to the strings. Okay. Now, are we going to mute? Because if you listen to Chet or you listen to Merle and those guys, they're muting those bass notes a lot. We're not going to do that yet. That's going to be coming up in the course. Right now, we just want to work on getting good, clean notes, and we need to know that they're clean before our hand mutes them. What about a pick? Should you use a pick? You can take this whole course and use a thumb pick if you'd like, and everything will be the same. I'm going to show it to you without a pick because a lot of people don't have picks, and you're more often going to encounter a guitar and maybe not have picks on. So it's quite easy to go from no pick to a pick. I think it's more difficult sometimes to go from a pick to no pick. So we're just going to do it with no pick, but if you already play with picks, by all means do it. If you're going to do finger picks, then just use your first two fingers for now. We'll get into using the ring finger and more in the future. Okay, so now that we've answered all those questions and given you a firm foundation of where we're headed, let me teach your brain how to play this style. This particular kind of fingerstyle is driven by the thumb. The thumb's the most important element. It's the most important digit over here on your picking hand. So we're going to start with it first. And just to let you know the psychology behind this, if we can get your thumb rolling kind of like a freight train where it's automatic, then we can begin to add other elements on top of that, and it'll all make sense. So let's go ahead and throw up the first line of tab here. Now, I mentioned earlier that we were just going to work with the C chord today, and that's because I want to take every possible variable that we don't have to have out of this lesson so that we can make it as simple as possible. C chord is good because a lot of the movements that we're going to use are the same as for other chords. So go ahead and just make your normal C chord. And a lot of folks, when you watch them play fingerstyle, they'll do this 4-finger chord, which sounds good if you're going to alternate bass. I'm going to encourage you to do a 3-finger C chord and to alternate by moving your ring finger. That's because so often we're going to be using our pinky down here. So I want to have that pinky free. Now, here's the difficult thing. Everybody wants to use their fingers and their thumb at the same time. So what I'm going to beg and implore you to do this first little bit of the lesson is to just thumb your way. Let's just thumb our way. We're going to lay the other fingers just out of the way here. You don't have to put them all on the top of the guitar, but make sure they're out of the way. And as we're addressing this first part of the lesson, do not use your fingers. We want to make sure you have the thumb. And if you don't have the thumb before you move on to the fingers, you're going to regret it later. You're just not going to learn what you need to learn. So this is very, very important. Just make, for me, a full C chord. You could, if you want to just play the ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 5th string, and just see what it feels like to hit that 4 times in a row. Some of you are thinking, oh my gosh, seriously? This is how basic we're going? Bear with me, or you can skip ahead a few seconds if you want, but I'm doing this systematically to make your brain learn it the way that you should, so maybe you ought to hang with me. So I just want you to feel what it feels like, if you've never played fingerstyle, to have the string go past your thumb. And I'm not playing with the tip of my thumb. I'm not playing with my nail. You can get a little nail sound in there. It's just a different tone. I'm playing with that fatty side of my thumb. And I even get little calluses on the edge of my thumb when I play a lot of fingerstyle. And I want you to feel what it feels like if you're just playing the string by itself. And try to keep it clean. Not play other strings right now. And I also want you to know what it feels like to play what we might call a rest stroke, where you play down through the string and land on the next string. See how I do that? Just know what they both feel like. So when you're doing it free like that and not doing the rest stroke, then I mount up on my pinky and really try to be precise. It's okay to look at your right hand for now, or your picking hand for now, but we're going to pull our eyes off of it later. Practice that rest stroke. Now let's try a little seesaw is what I might call it, and that's there in measure 2. All we're going to do is go from the 5th string to the 4th string, back and forth. Same thing you might try at first, playing this rest stroke where you play through the 5th string and land on the 4th. And then whenever you play through the 4th string, land on the 3rd. You might say, why are we doing that? Because that's a skill that we'll need later on. So I just want you to see what it feels like. Then do it free floating. Work on your accuracy here. That's what we're concentrating. Almost anybody can pick it up and go. But are you clean? Are you only hitting those notes? And are you getting good tone and good volume? Can you hear it? Because at first, when you first start playing fingerstyle, it's like really soft. You're like, I could never get it loud. Yes, you can. You just have to develop some strength to go through those strings. Where you grab it and you don't pop it like that, but you get a little bit of that in there. And sometimes you want to do that. So now we're going to alternate. If you've got that down, we're going to alternate in measure 3. And what I mean by that is we're going to start on our 5th string, go up to the 4th, and then we're going to drop down to here and go back to the 4th. So what we're mimicking here is what a bass fiddle would do and what combined with what a rhythm guitar would do. So the bass fiddle, if you were playing over a C chord, would very often go 1, 5, 1, 5. So here's the root of the C chord, that's a C note. There's a 5th tone. That's the G note. That's the 5th note of a C scale. So 1, 5, 1, 5, 1, 5. And what we're going to do in between that is jump up and grab this E note that we've already discovered. That's the major 3rd of the C major scale to provide kind of the chord fill, okay, to let us know it's a major chord. So the big thing here is accuracy, tone, and equal volume. Try it. Then switch with your ring finger down to the bottom string, grab it. Are you accurate? Is your volume the same? Good. Now we've got one more measure to play, and this is just a standard walk. We'll learn many walks in the future, but I want to throw this one in there because we're going to use it today. And we're going to start with our 3rd finger, or with our ring finger on that 3rd fret. Move it down just like we did in measure 3. Then just walk up the scale. Do it all with your thumb. One thing I want you to concentrate on is accuracy. And I also want each one of those notes held out as long as you can until the next note is played. So I don't want it like this. Hold them out. Switch at the last millisecond. That's important. Believe me. Okay. So if I was playing that entire line, it would sound like this. Oh, you've got the thumb down now, or at least we've started working on it. Get that down before we move on. Would you do that for me? Okay. It's very important. So get that thumb down, be able to play through that, memorize the tab, or just forget about the tab and just play through those various strings, knowing what your C chord, the notes that your C chord plays. Make sure that you can play it without looking at your pick in hand, and that you're accurate. Use that anchor, use the pinky, and that will help you with that. And then once you feel confident with that, it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but just feel confident, like, I know it, I just maybe hit an errant string here and there. Okay, well then let's move on, because what we're going to do now is we're going to make we're going to anoint the point. Anoint the pointer anointer. We're going to bring in this index finger only, and we're going to systematically learn how to use that with what we've already, the foundation that we've laid with our thumb. So if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, you can come over and watch the rest of this great lesson. We're building these fundamentals at banjobenclark.com. I'd be honored to have you on board as a Gold Pick member. Let's go.